This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is Cedric Simonet, the newly appointed CEO of Altona Rare Earths, following the news that the company has listed on to the London Stock Exchange. So congratulations, first of all, Cedric. How are you feeling? This has been a very long time coming.
Thank you very much, Mark, and good morning. Yes, it has taken some time, but finally we're here. We are listed on the LSE. We've moved from a quiz, which was a very, very important goal for the company. So we are very happy about it, and we are feeling relieved also.
Excellent. And as part of the move, you also raised quite a bit of money, didn't you? So can you let us know how much money you've raised and also what these funds will be used for?
All right. We've raised 2 million pounds. The initial placing objective was 1.25. The placing was very oversubscribed, which is very encouraging. It shows the confidence that investors have in Altona and the Monte Muambe project. So in terms of plan use, our immediate priority is to complete our mineral resource estimate, our maiden mineral resource estimate, and our scoping study. This should be out within a couple of months, let's say the end of August.
Okay.
And once this is done, that will allow us to take our ownership of the project from 20% to 51%. We are operating under a farming agreement. So in September, we will take it to 51%. Once this is done, we will also start working on applying for a mining concession for the project. In Mozambique, it's possible to get mining concessions at a relatively early stage of the project. So we intend to take advantage of this. And we will start with pre-feasibility study activities.
Okay, so within 2 months, you're hoping to get the scoping study out and then get a mining concession. The mining concession, what is that? Is that just the ability to conduct work on site?
Right now, the project is held under a prospecting license, which allows prospecting activities. A mining concession is a mining license, basically. That's how it's called in Mozambique. So that will significantly de-risk the project, because once you've got the mining rights for 25 years, you know that you are set as far as licensing is concerned.
Okay. And you will go to 51% ownership on completion of the scoping study?
Correct.
Okay, which will be in a couple of months. Okay, so that takes you
Yes.
to owning over half of the project. So what's the rest of the plans for the rest of the year then? If you're going to get that scoping study done in a couple of months, what's going to be the activities for the rest of this year?
Yeah, we are going to have some drilling happening in July and August. If you remember our last interviews, we identified during the course of last year about 10 different targets in this basin, in this crater. And we have fully explored only 2 of them, which are target 1 and target 4, which form the bulk of our current JORC exploration target estimate, and which will form the bulk of the resource estimate. But we have a lot of other targets we need to look at. So from July, we will be doing some drilling. That will also help getting some news flow as we wait for the scoping study to be out. And for the rest of the year, we will embark on pre-feasibility studies with a lot of focus on metallurgy and also doing baseline studies on site for the environmental impact assessment.
Okay, so working on the PFS throughout the rest of the year. When would you want that completed? Before the end of the year, or would it be going into early next year?
No, the PFS will take more time. We expect it will take about 18 months. It's a big piece of work, and we want to make it as complete as possible so that we don't have to go to a full DFS after that. We can just upgrade it. So we are going to have to try to have our PFS as comprehensive as possible.
Okay, so that you can not do the DFS and maybe go straight to bankable feasibility, or
We'll just upgrade the PFS into a DFS.
Upgrade it into a DFS. Okay, fantastic. And the funds that you have raised, then that will see you through to how long will they see you through to?
They will see us through for 12 months.
Okay.
And we will be looking at a new fundraiser at a later date.
Okay, excellent. Well, it certainly sounds like finally you can really get moving on with things here at Monte Muambe. Are there also any plans to expand the project portfolio?
All right. Right now, we are focusing on Monte Muambe because Monte Muambe is a great project. It ticks already a lot of the boxes in terms of potential size. When we compare to our peers' reserve statements, we can see that what we've drilled, what we expect for the resource statement is already the right size, the right grade. The geometry of the ore body is very good. So for us, Monte Muambe is a project that we want to take into production, and that takes a lot of focus. However, being based in Africa, with the experience we have, with the networks we have, and with the knowledge we have on the geology, we are in a very good position to also look at other projects. So we constantly assess new projects, and if we find one that meets our criteria, we may add a project to our portfolio.
Okay. Now I'm just thinking, this is a final thought, this is obviously a rare earth project, and rare earths are becoming more commonly understood, but I don't think they're still very much as well understood as things like copper or gold deposits. When the scoping study comes up, that will of course put some numbers to the project and give investors a feel for the value of the project. But I wonder if there's anything you can either say now or think about sort of saying in the future that would really help investors to understand a rare earth deposit and start to kind of think about a value that could be attributed here to Monte Muambe and just get a better feel for a rare earth project.
Okay. First of all, rare earths are 17 different elements. And although you often find them together, they are not there in the same proportions. So when you have a rare earth project, it's important to look not only at the total grade, what we call the TREO, total rare earth oxide, but you have also to look at the breakdown of the different types of rare earths. Monte Muambe is a project which has a lot of light rare earths, which are also called magnet metals. This includes neodymium and praseodymium. These two elements are very important for the transition to green energy that the world is undergoing now, because they are used to make permanent magnets, and these permanent magnets are used in electric vehicles, and they are also used in wind turbines. So right now, there is no transition to green energy without rare earths. That's very, very important.
So those two that you mentioned, praseodymium and niobium, is that how you say it? Neodymium, okay. Those are the two, are they the more, another one, yeah, okay. But those are the two that have got the more value attributed to them. So investors could look at the market price for those two elements and then work the maths out depending on what numbers are in the scoping study.
Yeah, the scoping study will include a lot of information on the breakdown of the different rare earth elements, what we call the basket in rare earth industry language. Okay. And the scoping study will also include market and forecast elements. So it will include also financials. There will be an NPV calculation in the scoping study. So there will be a lot of information. But in terms of value, when we look at what we already know about the breakdown of the rare earth elements contained at Monte Muambe, about 80% of the contained value is in these two elements, neodymium and praseodymium. And the remaining 10-15% is in two other rare earth elements which are also used in magnets. These are dysprosium and terbium.
Okay. So those are the ones to look out for. Is there anything you can sort of share now, just to get some thoughts going before the scoping study comes out on the sort of opportunity at the project? I think you said it was low strip ratio open pits. Is there anything you can share?
Yeah, the exploration target estimate, which was published, came at with a tonnage, a range of tonnage between 21.7 million tons and 56.6 million tons, and grades between 1.6 and 1.8% TREO, which is again the total rare earth oxide. This is already a very good start, but for us, that figure is not the most important. The most important is the high-grade zone, which is contained in this figure. So for the high-grade zone, the exploration target estimate came between 6.5 million tons and 11.5 million tons with grade of 2.4%, between 2.4 and 2.5% TRE. And this is very, very good because what we did after we drilled and we did the exploration target is that we continued drilling on this high-grade zone, focusing on this high-grade zone. And this high-grade zone is very, very well defined. You have intercepts of between 30 and 60 meters where you've got high-grade ore the whole way, very little waste or very little low-grade ore interburden. So what it tells us is that probably the resource estimate is going to come around something around 20 million tons with grades upwards from 2.5% TRU. And when we compare this potential resource with what some of our peers who are also doing carbonatite projects for rare earths in Africa have published in their DFS in very advanced documents, what we see is that these reserve statements are about the same order of magnitude. So we already know that we don't need to go and try to drill and get hundreds of millions of tons at a low grade. It would make no sense. It would be a waste of time and resources. So our strategy is very, very well defined, very well focused. We know what we need to have a potential mine, and that's what we are going for.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, investors can of course look forward to the scoping study in a couple of months, so in the summer, a nice little thing to look forward to. But for now, thank you very much for your time. Cedric Simonet, the CEO of Altona Rare Earths.
Thank you very much, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.